I should like to smack an ass.
Wrong.
Maybe fuck yourself.
Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense. That's right, America. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is the lost art of common sense, brought to you by our merch shop.
Buy our shit.
That's right. Buy our shit. Link in the description below. And this week, we're going to be talking about something that I just had an epiphany on, I think about maybe 2 days ago. And it has to do with the work D.O.G.E is doing. And that is, they kind of pointed out, based on some of the fraudulent spending of the USAID, that we, in fact, may have been and are coming out of a color revolution. Kevin, under your understanding, what is a color revolution?
Kind of like a subversion of the government, or kind of subvert the government, change the government, try to like overthrow the current government into a new type of government or a new direction for the government through peaceful protests, certain social policies, stuff like that, where your money goes going towards certain people, certain outlets, stuff like that, and trying to change the course or change the direction of the government, basically.
Yeah, that's kind of, well, and I was trying to find the earliest. My understanding, I did not know
it happened after like the fall of communism, basically. think after the
Well, I
Cold
think
War.
that's what led to communism in China.
Yeah, but I think it was part of trying to dethrone, the USSR. And
So you're talking about color revolution started by the United States.
yes,
See, my original understanding of color revolutions were that's how Mao took over China.
that's also happened. I mean,
They subverted a bunch of college kids, and that's how they ended up getting the communists in charge
yes,
of China.
there's different ways to do it. I mean, obviously,
For good and for
it
bad.
yes. I guess it depends what you side on. Yes, I mean, I'm sure Mao was happy about it.
Well, yeah. Well, and the funny thing is like it seems like our generation of lazy fucks can't even get that right because they couldn't even pick one color, and ours were anything but peaceful.
Yeah, I think this what they try to do in the United States here recently, it they tried to I think try to shove it down too fast, too furious almost, Not the Vin Diesel movie, but I mean, but I think, it came all too suddenly and it was so like right in your face where people were like, nope.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been working for a while, but I mean, what are some of the examples of the Doge findings that would lead you to think that we're in hopefully at the tail end of a color revolution, or it's more of a subversion? We'll get into more of that later, but
Well, I think things like finding they sent money to the George Soros prosecutor fund, the amount of money they gave to illegals to be shipped in. It was found that that whatever that Lutheran refugee, whatever it was, thing that they changed their name to global refugee. Basically, it's just you know getting illegals into the country. Then you had like outlets like Politico, uh, New York Times, place like that, getting money from USAID. There's, so you're getting only certain publications, certain stuff like that. Government, no matter where it comes from, USAID or anything, should not be putting any kind of money, buying any kind of subscriptions to any kind of,
like $8 million a year for Politico Pro,
yes. Yeah. So that should never happen.
which is literally an insider
Yeah.
like thing, so people can learn about what's going on inside the government.
Yeah. So that should never happen.
Yeah, none of what you just named off is what led me to this epiphany.
What led you?
All the gay shit,
Well, yeah.
all the trans pro stuff in all
Oh,
these
yeah.
other countries. That's what's like, huh? Yeah, because it's part of that it's part of that subversion thing where you're disrupting normal stuff with issues and problems that don't make any sense to normal people. It's like, why the hell are you pushing all this transgender stuff in these foreign countries?
Especially countries that don't like Muslim countries.
Yeah, and it's like they just don't, it doesn't vibe with the society. So that's
Exactly.
when we were watching it, that's why I was like, huh, that seems a lot like what's been shoved down our throats
Yeah.
forcefully and
The
unwelcomely. Um, you think that's why Dems are freaking out so bad, or do you think it's about the money with them?
damn straight it is, buddy.
That's right, best show in town.
Until we're kicked off YouTube for saying something
Talking about truths.
truths or opinions, more likely.
But no, do you think they're freaking out about like that all these countries aren't going to be getting all this shit spending, or do you think some of this money's coming back to them because they are freaking out hard?
Dude, I think obviously the money was getting kicked back.
I think some of it was for sure.
Absolutely. There's no way nobody has, no one's getting kickbacks for this crap. Either they're getting kickbacks or they're employing a lot of these places they're sending money are, people got their friends' jobs or they're going to, friends like causes and shit like that. It's it's some kind of kickback. It's going to lead to corruption, and somehow no one's going to get in trouble. I don't think, because that's just how the government works. No one
Well,
in Congress will get in trouble for this.
I mean, and I've heard people talking about it, but like, here's an example of some of the left reaction, and it just seems over the top.
We will fight their violation of civil service laws. We will fight their violation of civil rights laws. We will fight their violations of separation of powers. We will fight their violations of our Constitution of the United States of America. We will not shut up.
Is there any way you could talk slightly quieter?
We will rise up. It is time, as the African spiritual says, for us to lift every voice in condemnation of what's going on.
I mean, if you talk like that in your mic, people might be able to hear you.
Yeah, no shit.
Every single person that talked at that rally sounded like that.
Well, transgender animals. It's a good study.
Oh, that's true. Hey, I thought, oh, there it is. It's like I thought you could make that bigger so you can read them.
But
no, that like every single person that just screaming, yelling, saying we're going to fight him in the streets and all that stuff, and that's over. I mean, they're going to start it up again. They're either going to scrap it, make something new, or they're going to start it up again with what it was meant to be for. But they found millions and millions of dollars just going to dumb shit.
I mean,
apparently, isn't USAID the one that's been funding these? What the hell are they called? GMOs or something like that, or
GNOs?
Yeah, that bring in illegals. Yeah, they've been funding a lot of that shit too.
That's that.
And I think that money does get funneled back.
Yeah, that was that Lutheran refugee something, and they changed their name to Global Refugee.
Yeah, it's like
they got a huge amount, and there's also one place called I can't remember what it's called. I just saw something, but they're getting a ton of money. It's like Camel Link or something like that, and
Camel Link,
like CHEMO. I can't remember what the rest of it was.
Oh, not Camel. Okay,
no,
you got that
Camo.
wrong.
I'm sorry, my voice is a little off because
Kevin's a sickie.
Still sick, so just trying to trudge through this.
He's doing it for you, America.
That's right. But I mean, they're saying all this stuff about the Constitution. Trump can't do this, blah, blah, blah. Elon Musk can't do this because, he's not no one voted him in. But no one voted these USAID employees in. No one voted half the bureaucracy in Washington in. But now we're supposed to be mad because somebody's auditing the people who spend our money. I mean, this should have happened a long time ago.
Well, it has happened multiple times. This is the first time they're doing anything about it.
Well, it's the first time they've actually showed what they're finding.
Well, and it doesn't make any sense because they're saying no one elected Elon. I know he's in an appointed position. A lot of people in government are appointed. Trump was elected, said he was going to do this. Elon was on his hip the entire time.
Yeah,
said they were going to do this. So yeah, and then here's what I understand, and I'm not a constitutionalist or government expert by no means, but Congress is like, you can't do this. Paris is with the Congress.
That's not true.
Congress approves money.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything in the Constitution that says they have to spend it.
They don't.
Like, I'm pretty sure the executive branch manages it.
Yes. The one thing, USAID falls under the executive branch anyways. So it's in control, they work under the president anyways.
Yeah, so I mean, all their arguments are falling flat. It's just weird how much they're freaking out about it.
Well, it's because, I swear to God, because they're taking money or their little pet projects are getting found out and people, are going to be like, what the fuck? This is BS, like, why are you spending my money this way? And you know what's more effed up is this is the first rock they've turned over. This is the first place they went.
Oh, they think they're going to find billions and billions of dollars in Medicaid, Medicare.
Yeah, then they're going to look at, I know they're going to the Department of Education. They're
going to save a lot of money there. They're going to close it
They
down.
want to go underneath the Pentagon.
Oh, there's tons of waste because the Pentagon doesn't care. They just throw money at shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's going to be a bunch of money. I mean, this is 18 days into his presidency. Is it 17 or 18? It's
yeah, and eggs are still expensive, Kevin. So what the fuck?
Well, I don't know. Stop killing chickens.
It's just not happening fast enough.
Bird flu,
Yeah, didn't they blame that on them not doing their job as far as containing it?
Yeah. I don't get it. But it's just funny that this is the first rock they've turned over, and all this money is found out to be wasted. I guess they went after them because they bitched loudest about it. Like the
probably had the most to hide.
Yeah, so they're fighting the most against it. So that's why they went after USAID.
I think they find a shit ton of money, and stuff might get a little hairy when they start auditing the D.O.G.E.
Yeah.
It's like that Dr. Greer guy says, do you actually think it costs like $600 million to build a plane?
Yeah.
It's like, no, that money gets siphoned off.
Hey, you're going to have to figure out where some of this money's going. I mean, I understand a lot of the stuff's going to be, obviously the DOD is going to be a little hairy.
I mean, I'm cool with them having the money they need, as long as it's spent wisely. But
yeah, I don't care if they're doing secret projects that, whatever, as long as it's protecting America.
0 point energy.
Yeah, at least share it.
I mean, do you think though that like the people in Iraq are less better off because I'm not 100% sure this.
I'm not even sure if this
I'm not 100% sure this is the Iraqi Sesame Street. I'm assuming it could be, but like this is the kind of programming that's being denied because of Trump's tyrannical rule. I mean.
السلام عليكم يا جماعة أهلا وسهلا فيكم خلينا نقول لكم على الحروف الأبجدية يلا خلينا نبدأ
I'll tell you one thing, Sesame Street has got more...
I don't know what show that could have came off of, though.
Oh, Matt's not here. I thought I changed that one. He'll be in later, maybe.
Maybe.
If he's not, he's fired.
He's
so if you're watching,
paid anything, so.
Oh yeah, what are you talking about? I'll make him give his hoodie back.
Yeah, that's probably stretched it out.
But yeah, that was. I mean, I don't know. That was funny. I don't know. Sesame Street in Iraq.
$20 million for Sesame Street in Iraq. It's just, it's crazy.
That's what I understand. Trump was talking about that before. Like, Sesame Street gets a shit ton of taxpayer monies, and it's a multi-billion-dollar business. Like, it does not need taxpayer money.
No.
Especially when you look at the crap it's putting out now.
I mean, I don't understand why we're funding NPR, the Associated Press, PBS. These are all left-wing companies.
That's what I don't get. If you're getting federal funding, you think you would go out of your way to at least look half-ass balanced? That's just
they don't at all.
If Trump hadn't have won, would we have been able to stop this subversion/revolution going on?
Do you want to show everybody what subversion is?
Yeah, we can roll on this. So this is we had a 4-part series.
Yeah, this is like 4 hours of talk moved down to 5 minutes.
Yeah, we had a 4-part series. And it's very important. I would argue one of the more important episodes we did. But here's a little shorter 5-minute version explaining to you what subversion is. By a guy who was literally paid by Russia to do this.
Is the slow process, which we call either ideological subversion or active measures.
I want you to listen to what the guy says. See if any of this shit's been going on in the United States.
Yeah. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their
can't even
community,
give a
and their
shit.
country.
Yeah.
It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft
there's
heads
been no
of
talk about
at least 3
socialism or
generations
communism in
of
the United
American
States
students,
lately.
without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in
like
the United States is
1980
basically completed already.
This is from the 80s. I think they
For
started.
the last 25
They
years.
tried it in the 60s.
Actually, it's over
during the hippie
fulfilled
movement.
because demoralization
Like
now
Reagan
reaches
stopped
such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore.
My
Yeah.
truth.
A
Just
person
spend
who was
some time on
demoralized is
the
unable to
For You
assess
column.
true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom.
Yeah, just
When a
accuse them all
military
fat.
bullet crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, doesn't matter
I don't
anymore.
know what country he's talking
This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could
this
never
guy
believe it
has been
14
going
years
around
ago when I
warning
landed
America
in
since
this
the
part of the
80s.
world that
Yeah.
the process will go that
They'll feel
fast.
it.
The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis,
No shortage of
to promise
those.
people
Yeah.
all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to
this is why
destabilize
Marxism
your
sucks.
economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government
Oh, we weren't heading
in
toward that.
Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. Your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was he was already a Marxist. He was executed by a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan when first there was Taraki, he was killed by
doing this
Amin, then
shit
Amin
all
was
over the
killed by
world.
Babrak Karmal
Yeah.
with the help of KGB.
Exactly.
Same happened in Bangladesh when Mujibur Rahman, very pro-Soviet leftist, was assassinated by his own Marxist-Leninist military comrades. It's the same pattern everywhere. The time bomb is ticking with every second. The disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defect.
Yeah, you guys really need to watch our 3 or 4 part episode.
I think it's a 4-part episode, but
was that
it's
season
him like
Was that
literally.
season 2?
That might have been season 1.
I think it was season 1.
I'll look it up real quick, but yeah, that he walks through exactly how it all plays out and makes examples. Got the whiteboard with the Sharpie, but the big thing with him, the funny thing is like, well, how do we stop it? And a lot of people scoff at it, but stop! I accidentally hit play. I was looking
On
at the.
what?
I was looking at. Well, I went to hit the playlist and I hit play, so I was going to play them all.
Oh,
But no, like he said that basically a religious culture cannot be subverted.
yeah. And you can
So
see
it
how
is a
religion is
3-part
falling.
series in season 1, episode 35, 36, and 37.
I would say
We hit a
everybody should-
36.2 during the midterm elections.
Yeah, I would
But
say
yeah,
everybody should watch it.
It's definitely, it's that dude. Like I said, that's what he got paid to do by the Russians. And he came over here and was warning them. And he basically said a religious country cannot be subverted because you can't. Basically, what they're doing is they're corrupting the morals of the nation,
Yeah.
and you can't do that with a religious populace. Doesn't matter, like it doesn't have to be Christianity, but it just doesn't work.
You've noticed that, obviously,
Which is that's why the first thing they attack
the
during
rise
this
of
version.
atheism has risen dramatically in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I think there is a slight resurgence of Christianity going on, but
There is, but only it's like, it's not huge, but it is there is a resurgence.
yeah, I would say the big mega churches and all that shit's not really helping the cause.
No, they're money laundering schemes too.
You can't say that. Joel Osteen is a prophet.
Who has money in his walls?
No, a janitor found money in a wall, gave
God
it to
put it
him,
there?
and they never even he never even gave the dude a finder's fee.
That's right.
Like, hey man, thanks for finding these thousands of dollars. I'm gonna put this to good work. I've been needed a new golden jewel encrusted shitter.
Right.
That's exactly where this is going.
My private plane has been out of gas for a minute. Thanks.
But yeah, that's not helping much. But yeah, that's why that's literally the first thing that they do when they're going to subvert a country is start attacking organized religion.
Well, then they go after colleges, the teachers.
Well, indoctrination.
Professors.
Look at what's happening
Yeah.
with the youth. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's why what they're uncovering of what the United States has been doing in other countries, and then you look what's been going on here.
Yep.
Like that's what stemmed the whole thing. So, I mean, and no one seems to be talking about this, but to me, the biggest thing that D.O.G.E has done that like got me thinking is like, this is just proof that we've been we've been going through a color revolution and have been being subverted. I mean, he's flat out.
Yeah.
What the hell is that dude's name? Besmanoff, I think is his last
Yeah.
name. But
You're
they've been trying this since the 60s. And then like he says in the long form video that he was surprised how fast this happened in the United States. Like how fast people soaked it up. And that's like, and if you've ever talked to a left-wing person and tried to have a rational conversation with them and they just lose their shit, it's because you're pulling on their walls of reality.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference is somebody can show me proof and I'd be like, oh shit, sorry, I was wrong.
Wow, that was really dumb back there.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Yeah. I have no problem if I want everybody, if I'm ever wrong about anything, post comments, whatever, I'm probably going to try to argue my stance, but if you can prove me wrong, then so be it.
I think we've only had one community note and it didn't really make any sense.
On what?
I don't know. Probably something I said.
Probably. Sounds like something done.
I go off the cuff a lot. I was like, hey, this does not prove me wrong. I will fight like hell to defend my stance. But if I am proven wrong, I will admit it, and I will thank the person for educating me.
Yep.
But that being said, if old Kamala was president, do you think we could have survived that? Do you think that would have taken us into crisis?
I think it would have taken us close to crisis. I don't know if it would have got there. I think there's enough people.
I think we were borderline in crisis in 2020, and somehow we pulled it back. I guess just not enough people.
I think just how bad the Biden presidency was showed people how fast they tried to shove it down our throats. I think if it would have gone a little bit slower, I think that would have changed a lot.
Yeah, I don't see. Now, here's the thing, though. I think it was going slower, and they were indoctrinating kids, like with all this bullshit and college kids. I truly believe that Trump getting elected in 2016 completely derailed any subversion. Like the timeline that they were working off of got totally
absolutely
when Trump got elected.
Yeah.
I think that's why they ratcheted it up. And then everyone's like, what?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think they try to, get back into where they wanted to be, just kind of fast forward because that 4-year gap of Trump kind of, shook things up a little bit. So they try to get back on track and they just push too hard.
Well, that's why I feel like it's kind of funny. I do believe that 2020 was totally jacked and that election was probably stolen just based on plenty of hard evidence, but whatever. I think that had to happen.
I do too.
Like it sucked. It still sucks. I think there's still more pain ahead in order to undo what went on over the last years. But I truly believe that needed to happen in order for people to witness all the stupid bullshit that's been going on.
I think it needed to happen just for Trump.
Well, just not even just for Trump, but for the country. Like I think we needed that. It was like a wake up call. People are like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to talk about like to anybody paying attention? Because what that dude talks about in the long form video is about 40 to 45% of the population will believe whatever the fuck they're told.
Yep.
If somebody in a suit on TV tells them something, doesn't matter. They're going to believe whatever. And that's really all they need. And that's where they start.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I think to us, like even since Obama, like it was a little slower under Obama, but when you look back, you're kind of like, what the fuck? Like that's where it started. Yeah. As far as like splitting the country and all that shit. Yep. But it came so fast and so hard, and they were trying to force it down everybody's throat. And that's another thing that you can probably thank Trump for, because he was the one politician that was uncancelable because he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you can Steven Crowder, he was the same way. They came after him, for all the shit he was saying. So he came out with a long apology video that was basically just talking shit to everybody that he was apologizing to.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. You can't.
It's like, I'm sorry, you're such an oversensitive bitch, and you were offended by what I had to say.
Exactly. I mean, that's what you got to do. Yeah, definitely during the Obama era is when it began, though. That's absolutely what happened. I mean, that's when the race stuff started happening. That's when everything just kind of, countries started dividing.
Well, cancel culture definitely started under Obama.
I mean, I think it'll never get back to where it was, especially around, right after 9/11, when the whole country kind of came together.
No. The problem is like you need some kind of catastrophic thing.
Yes.
For that to happen.
Yeah. And I don't even know if that'd be like a Band-Aid on a severed arm.
Yeah. So do you think, well, before I ask this question to our kick-ass listeners, uh, is what we're saying jiving? Like, I don't want to be coming over conspiratorial, but I mean, this is what, looking, paying attention, we're not really connecting a whole lot of dots other than saying this is what happened and shit got really fucked up, but that's what I think. But do you think Trump knows and or have known that this has been going on in the United States? Like, there's so much, and we'll get into uh, my loser of the week on people who sip up every drip of the Kool-Aid. But like, he knows that this has been going on, and you can't just come out and say it because, like I said, there's 43% of the people that literally need the boot to the back before they. Well, it's not just that. If you can get someone to start doing their own research, they will unbrainwash themselves.
Yeah,
as far as if you can get them out of their echo chamber.
I think he kind of knew when he ran for president the first time. I think during his first presidency, he thought I don't think he knew how bad it was. I mean, they were doing like transgender stuff underneath his nose that he didn't know about, because he trusted the wrong people. He thought, these bureaucrats would do what, because he's the boss, they would just do what he says. What he didn't know was they were funding all this stuff. They were implementing some of these new transgender, things in the culture. Then I think he realized how bad it got when when he lost the 2020 election and how the January 6th committee stuff went and the whole Biden 4 years. And I think that's why he's coming out so aggressively right now, because he knows what's going on. So that's why he's coming out so aggressively his first 17, 18 days. God, hopefully this lasts. I mean, every day's a new thing with, Trump, a bombshell he just, throws at the left. I know a lot of stuff's probably going to get, caught up in courts and stuff. So we'll see how much this actually, how fast.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, and I don't have it in the happenings of the week, but just as far as like that goes, I'm not sure how a federal court judge, Trump appointed, by the way, can hold off on his laying off of people that's under the executive branch.
I don't either.
Unless he's doing it so it falls into their court, and then they can explain themselves in front of a non-left-wing hack judge. That's the only reason I could see for doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't understand the law that much. I mean, I just know not to break it, not to go to jail.
If you don't understand the law, how do you know if you broke it or not, Kevin?
Well, I don't know governmental law.
I don't know any of the laws.
Just none.
I just know that
free. Like the wild fucking West over
the numbers
place,
on the
man.
sign tell me how fast to go. It's like, oh, I thought that was the suggestion.
Yeah.
It doesn't say mandatory.
No, it says limit.
Yeah. It's like, no, my car's not limited to that.
No, I can go way faster than
Your
that.
information is wrong, sir.
Yeah.
Do you think D.O.G.E is being used to shed light on some of this, as in like covertly, as far as bad actors go? Or do you think they're just like literally just looking for wasteful spending?
I think they're just looking for wasteful spending. It's just coming out, though.
Just happen to be stumbling upon all the fuckery going on.
It's just the crazy shit that they're finding. I mean, they're just looking for wasteful spending, and this stuff is obviously wasteful spending to where they're like, hey, we should, obviously all they're doing is looking. That's all they're doing. They're not, like, they're just eyes only. They can't change anything. They can't fire anybody. They can't take money. All they're doing is just looking at the spending, and then they report it back to President Trump, and he figures out what he wants to do, or Marco Rubio, because he's the head of USAID right now. And so they're just reporting back to them, and they get to figure out what they want to do with this. Do they want to cut this? Do they want to whatever?
Yeah, and they people need to realize too, all the stuff they're looking at is read only, and they don't have access to everything. So people need to stop freaking out. The funny thing is, though, if you want to find corruption, not just wasteful spending, that's how you do it. I mean, that's how they brought down Al Capone. It's money.
Yeah.
You start finding money getting spent here, and then you start tracking it. And they're using some kind of quantum AI mapping, and that's how they're finding a lot of the fraud.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but it like maps out where all the money went. So
I
it can
don't know.
bounce
I'm
through like
not a computer guy.
shell corporations and all that shit. So
I can barely make this website work we're using.
yeah, because you don't do anything. So
Oh, it says it right there.
you
Little
log
to
on.
nothing. You're lucky I can log on some days.
Well, that's true. Sometimes you've been a pro with that.
But I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy how much they're finding.
So back in the 60s, when a lot of this shit started and was kind of snuffed out by Reagan, I think the Russians were the ones
Oh,
trying
absolutely.
to subvert the country.
I think that's kind of where it still is. I mean,
You think Russia's still behind the subversion of the United States?
No, well, I think what they did. Russia just kicked the snowflake down the hill and just kept going. It became a big ass snowball.
Yeah, but the only thing is the problem with subversion is you have to have a military force that comes in during the normalization. That's not going to be Russia.
No, it'll be China or. But I mean, if you destabilize the U.S., any country with any kind of military force, I mean, it has to be China. Obviously, Russia has proven it has no military capability beyond its nukes.
Well, and you'd almost think it would have to be UN peacekeepers because normally crisis in the United States, in order to get into normalization, will be a full out like damn near civil war.
Yeah,
and then they would
kind of in a cold civil war right now.
Well, we have been for a while. Thankfully, the people with all the guns haven't lost their shit because that's exactly what they want to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that can sound as crazy tinfoil hat as you want, but I mean that's literally like you keep poking people and keep talking shit about all the, patriotic people in the country that they know have all the guns. I guarantee you that's what they're pushing for. Someone would be like, you know what? I've had enough.
I mean, I'm sure there's been a few instances here and there.
Well, there has been a little bit here and there, but it's like if we with the amount of guns and ammunition,
civil war or even close to.
No, and with the amount of guns and ammunition in civilian hands, if we had an actual gun problem in this country, you would definitely know about it. I don't even know if see, here's the one thing. I don't know if you could ever get to normalization in the United States. Like if we ever lost our shit and it got to that point, I can't see any military force coming in and calming it down.
No.
Like they might be able to come in and like, all right, we stabilized the coast. We're just going to let the dudes in the leather chaps and weird vehicles take care of the rest of the middle of the country.
Right? Because
I joined this group and they just handed me assless chaps in this fucked up looking Camaro. I mean, whatever. Yeah, the fucked up thing is they took my clothes when I started. All I got are these assless chaps. But, it's a sense of family, I guess. I'm cool.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the community.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. Like, it could be a conglomerate thing. And that's what some people were talking shit about Elon Musk because it would have to be some type of globalist because and Elon Musk is a globalist, but he's not a globalist in the sense of what we think are globalists.
No, what he is, he wants humanity to survive.
I think he's a speciesist.
He doesn't want to control humanity himself or have elites control humanity. He just wants humanity to survive if there's something devastating that happens, like, a mega eruption or a comet hits the earth or what he wants to do.
In case that happens, well, people on a planet that's only been hit by 2 giant comets.
Well, one planet, one comet.
I don't know. For some reason, someone said that if we become interplanetary, as in we have human beings on 2 different planets, we're guaranteed survival. I'm like, that's not true at all.
Well, you're actually, you're raising
your odds go up by quite a bit.
Yeah, but you're not guaranteeing. I mean,
we'd have to become like intergalactal.
Yeah, you'd have to terraform like Titan and like.
I think you'd have to be able to get out of our solar system.
Oh, absolutely. And
then technically we're actually hurling toward another giant galaxy. And depending on what
in
size.
like 5 billion years.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because though it depends on what side we hit. We're either not going to notice at all or we're going to be dead. Like the whole half of the galaxy is going to be obliterated, but the other half's not going to know anything happened.
Yeah. Well, it don't matter. It's like 5 billion years ahead. So
No, that's true. It's fine. I'll be dead. I don't give a shit.
yeah.
If they were to find out that there are people facilitating this stuff, should there be consequences? I mean, you can call it what it is, but if there's bad actors, I mean, it's a treasonous act against our country.
Well, I mean, the least that it is going to be, corruption charges. I mean, that's the least. And yeah, there can be treason. I mean, some of them are treasonous acts. I mean, death. I mean, that's what the penalty for treason is.
Yeah, we haven't used that since that couple, I think, during when we were developing the nukes.
Yeah.
I think that was the last couple to be executed for treason. That kind of goes into a lot of things with why people try to do so much shit. That kind of goes into a lot of things with why people try to do so much shit.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Hey, buddy, you should stop listening to the show so I'm not hearing myself.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear it from there? Sorry, I thought I had it down.
Oh, man, you're super loud, too.
I know. Am I?
Yeah. Super loud. So Matt's here.
Matt's here.
We'll actually be talking about what happens after you die.
Ooh.
Maybe a little bit next week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But no, it does
That's
matter.
interesting.
That does matter.
Yeah.
So we will be talking about a little of that next week.
I don't even know how long the sun's going to last. Is it more than 5 billion years?
Nobody knows. Once it burns up, once it runs out of reactive material, then it becomes a red dwarf.
All I know is it's not tomorrow. No, it comes a white dwarf.
No, it becomes a red giant and then a white dwarf.
Red giant, then a white dwarf.
But when it becomes a red giant, our planet will no longer be here.
Yes. You know what? I don't even see color, guys, when it comes to the sun.
You know what? And I don't see you wearing a hoodie.
Technically white.
So
yeah, because I was wearing the hoodie for like all of 2 seconds, but that's another story.
Hey, look, man. I'm not saying I don't look ridiculous in this T-shirt if you were to get a side view of me, but straight on. So we're anyway.
Well,
it's fine.
I did wear my good old Dunder Mifflin stuff. Though.
Matt, have you been paying attention to the show at all? Do you know what we're talking about?
No. We went out to dinner and it took forever and a half to even get our drinks. And then
then I would give them a bad Yelp review. Excuses are like assholes, buddy.
I mean, the drinks were still good. I still enjoyed the drinks very much.
Well, okay. So I just want to get...
Are you talking about D.O.G.E?
Yeah, I want to get your outlook on the entire premise of the show, which basically, through the money spent that D.O.G.E has dug up through USAID with all the LGBTQ stuff, trans shit, literally talking about causing upheaval in other countries.
Yeah.
Do they inadvertently prove that we ourselves have been being subverted and we're in the midst of a color revolution? And a color revolution, if you don't know, do you know what a color revolution is?
Not until you tell me, Josh.
It's basically it's supposed to be a nonviolent means of changing the government. That's how Mao took over China, supposedly.
We're America. Do we do anything nonviolently?
No, they fucked that up too.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even pick one color. They picked all the colors.
Gotta get them all.
But
Green,
subversion.
Be offended.
See, you so much. You could have learned so much, Matt. Now you're so much less of.
I'm gonna have to go back.
After you need to go back to season 1 and watch our subversion warning that nobody watched.
Nobody watched it.
I mean, like 10, 20
and it's
people.
All coming to fruition right now.
That's right. We tried to warn you people. It's all your fault.
Try to tell everybody what's happening.
No, but it's like, taking down of a country by corrupting the culture, basically causing instability, leading to crisis, and then a
Insane.
foreign entity comes in to normalize everything, and then we as Americans are basically under the rule of a communist and socialist nation, and what
So
we knew
Elon's
of America is gone forever. Do you think that we have been on the road to something like that?
yeah.
See?
I mean, for a while, yeah. Now that with all the D.O.G.E stuff and everything that's coming out of how the government's actually spending, I think it's gonna just prove that politicians are fucking dumb and it's not
Well,
going the right way. It's not going how it should be going.
if
And
this is how you figure out politicians are dumb, I mean, I'm just
well,
saying
no, I mean
you've been living under
it's
a rock.
proving and it's
Have you
just
never heard AOC talk?
adding to it. Yeah.
You know what? How would you feel? Oh, he probably doesn't give a shit
I
because
think I'm yelling.
he literally got the shit kicked out of
I
him
feel like I'm yelling.
like every day when as a kid growing up. Elon.
Oh, I thought you were
But
talking about me.
how insulting would it be to have someone like AOC saying
you
you're
dumb?
not smart?
You're literally catching rockets out in the midair.
Those are CGI. Those are
Oh, yeah.
I
CGI.
can't remember how she said it, but however she said he was dumb and the most unintelligent person she's ever met, she used wrong grammar in that sentence. And when I heard it, I laughed and I wanted to comment, but now I can't remember how she said it.
You don't use your words right.
I know. I was like, you're calling somebody unintelligent and you can't
Matt,
speak?
are you the there guy on Facebook?
The what?
Are you the there guy on Facebook?
There.
No, it's there. It's not there.
Oh,
You got
that
your
one.
E's in your eyes all wrong.
T-H-E-I-R,
The
not
grammar,
T-H-E-R-E.
the grammar Elon.
Yeah.
Yeah, are
Yeah.
you the grammar Elon?
The grammar Elon.
Well, that kind of leads into the last question on the main topic. Are we out of the woods, or does something like this ever really end? How do we prevent it
It's
from
not
taking
gonna
hold
end.
again?
It's never
It's
going
not
to
going
be.
to end.
I don't think anybody's going to. Well, I think maybe because we're the top dogs that they're always going to try. But I mean, how do you prevent it from getting as bad as it did? Because there are a lot of lifelong consequences for all the dumb bullshit that we've been dealing with.
But
I can tell you it's going
people
to take
in
a lot
charge of
longer
money.
to change anything than it did to change it to where it got to. You know, it's harder to change back than, the change that's in place already, that's been happening. It's
Yeah, there's
harder.
a lot of that. There, you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get those wrong a lot. No, I don't.
But I mean, it's hard.
I just
to
use words that
change
don't
back.
exist.
You do.
It's a lot easier to fall downhill than it is fall up it.
Yeah, it's just like.
Is that what you're saying, Kevin?
Weight gain.
Yes.
It's a lot easier
Basically,
to gain
yes,
weight.
that's the best way to put it.
To lose weight.
My mind's a little broken.
You're just not as sharp as a tack as I am.
No, it's like a dull spoon up here.
Most spoons are dull, so
Yeah,
I guess
it's
you're
even duller.
normal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ever going to stop. I think, I mean, like that one Bezmanoff dude said, people of faith can't be subverted.
Hmm.
People without God can be because they have no moral standing. We'll talk more about that next week. But
Well,
yeah,
you're
there's
going to find a problem with it in colleges because smart people always think they're above God or that they know that there isn't one because they believe in science over religion or whatever,
would you say they have a God complex?
Yes,
Read
absolutely.
Dan Brown books.
You can't be that
Did you say read Brown books?
Dan Brown.
Yeah, Brown. Read Brown books. Don't read any other color. Just read Brown.
That's weird.
Dan Brown, because he talks about religion all the time.
Everybody
religion
poops.
versus science. Everywhere. Everybody poops.
That's a brown book.
And some poop is multicolored too. It depends on what you're eating. Some poop's green. Some poop's brown.
If RFK becomes the HHS person, you might not have colored poop.
That's right. We're all going to have healthy movements because of RFK.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty well wraps up the main topic. Anybody got anything else to say about Doge? I
Well,
think
just that,
invertly
like I said,
sharing.
this is the first rock they've overturned, and they found so much corruption already, so much wasteful spending. I can't wait till they get to, the IRS, the Department of Education, Department of Defense, all these other departments. I mean, it's been 18 days. He's got 4 years to uncover all this shit. So it's going to be a fun ride.
Before we get into the winners and losers, we're going to go ahead and roll this video of this lady discussing just how inefficient and wasteful the government is. We'll round it out with this.
I used to be a federal employee, and I'm going to tell you why I don't feel bad for federal employees being forced to come back into the workplace. I worked for the Army Corps of Engineers for almost a year, and the abuses that I saw by government employees was astounding and shocking. I worked as a realty specialist, and that is someone who manages government-owned lands. So when farmers and ranchers lease land to graze cattle, we would manage that. When I was hired, my boss bragged that it was basically impossible to get fired from the federal government, and that in her entire time working for the government, she'd only seen one person fired, and that person assaulted a fellow employee, and she wasn't even fired for assaulting the employee at work. She was fired for lying about it because they caught it on camera. When I worked for the government, we were allowed to work 50% in the office and 50% from home, for the most part. In some cases, if you'd worked there, I think over 10 years or something, you could actually work from home 3 days a week and work from the office 2 days a week. I use the word work very loosely. One employee spent his time remote working, running his own farm. Another employee bragged about drunk driving and going out to lunch with her friends for margaritas when she was supposed to be remote working. No one would log into their computers, and you can see it because they're not on Teams, and no one ever checked. Ever. There's something called the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the work in government is done by 20% of the people, and this is very, very true. People who get a job in the government a lot of times find out that it's very difficult to fire them, and they take advantage of this. One employee would come into the office, his start time would be 6:30, and he knew nobody would be there, and when I came in at 7:30 and I was the next person to come in, he was snoring at his desk every single morning.
I mean, who hasn't done that?
Another employee would take the government truck on an almost daily basis so that he could go out to lunch and then go and take a nap in his favorite park under a shady tree in the government truck.
Nor would owners across the street.
One of the very first things I did when I started working for the Corps, I spent 3 months cleaning up their real estate files room, which was a disaster. The government is using an antiquated system that was developed sometime in the 90s and using regulations that haven't been updated since the 90s to manage our dams and our government lands. Our government is filled with the most incompetent and most lazy people and an occasional hard worker. And those hard workers are severely punished every time they outwork their colleagues, because then the colleagues realize people will see that they're lazy and they don't want to have to work more. They're just buying time until they retire, in almost every case. My point is, some of our government organizations haven't been maintained or updated in so long that you basically need to create a new organization and start from scratch, because there's almost no way to transfer it over. And there's so much red tape in between, it'll never get done. But I know that our government is inefficient because the people working for it are not doing what they need to do to take care of the rest of us. So no, I don't think government employees should get the benefit of working from home. If our government is not working for us, we shouldn't have to take years to do anything in a technological age. They choose to take that long. That's a choice. So they can choose to do things faster and more efficiently, and then they can choose to get remote work back. I don't feel bad for them.
I don't think
At
they
all.
should ever get remote work back.
No.
Personally.
You know, people.
Did that make you sick, Matt?
It did. I was disgusted.
Makes me sad. I mean,
it
everybody
does
should
make me
know
sad.
this. And
I
acting
do
like-
think that Doge, as far as people auditing their books and making sure where their money goes, should be a Western world thing, because we, I think, are heading off something really bad. I think the rest of the Western world is in pretty bad shape right now.
Oh yeah.
Like almost past the point of being fucked.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Europe.
Yeah. Europe's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and run into winners and losers of the week, and then I'll let you guys discuss your losers while I dip out.
Okay.
In my book, you're a winner too.
I think you're a loser.
But I will be back. So,
Thanks for the win.
Boo, no.
all right, you guys discuss your losers.
Matt, do you have a loser?
I don't right now. I was
All
trying
right.
to come up with one, but I don't. I failed. I'm sorry.
No problem. I took Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman out of Texas, because she tried to blame the latest job reports on Donald Trump, but failed to realize that it was December to January job reports, so it's under Biden that it happened. I mean, these are
Yeah,
the
it's a
people
little-
in charge. They can't even read the job reports.
Yeah.
I mean, they're quick to blame, but don't want to take any blame themselves. And it's
Exactly.
so annoying. And it's just all of them. They don't understand how our government works. They don't understand how anything works in the government, but they want to freak out about it because they're about to get caught with their hand in the cookie jar because of this whole D.O.G.E thing. And they're trying to impeach Donald Trump again.
Which I don't understand. I was like, he's been talking about it his whole campaign. He's like, we're going to do this. And he's using Treasury employees, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's who's, other than Elon, but
Yep.
the people that are actually doing the looking are Treasury employees that have been vetted by the head of the Treasury. So I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't either. But I mean, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
Their arguments are, I mean, it's frustrating, and no one sees it. Everybody will just believe like all these lies these Democrats are putting out about. There are some programs being shut down that probably are doing good, but if they didn't, do all these other side projects and pet projects and these BS projects, that wouldn't have happened. If USAID did what they're supposed to do, then this wouldn't be happening. So it's on them for doing this shit.
They're being hyperbolic too. They're not necessarily being shut down right now. Everything's on pause
for 90
I was going to
days.
say they're just pausing everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the world is falling.
It's just.
I guess I did have a
Nice
bit of a.
falling.
Sorry, if were you still going, Kevin?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess I did have a loser, and that would be pretty much anybody that's all the Democrat senators that are going out and I guess petitioning and going on these rallies and saying, "Oh, we're at war" and all this stuff, and we're going to fight in the streets and all this stuff. It's just dumb. It's like, what? You're telling Republicans to grow up, and yet you do that.
Your loser could be Lori Pohutsky from Michigan. She just under 2 weeks ago, I underwent surgery to ensure that I would never have to navigate a pregnancy in Donald Trump's America. I refuse to let my body be treated as currency by an administration that only sees value in the ability to procreate.
She sterilized herself.
Yeah.
In Michigan, which has abortion in its constitution, is one of the most liberal. Like
that's your loser right there, buddy.
Oh, okay. Yep, now I know.
I have another loser before we get to you, Josh, and that's all these protesters for the illegal Trump's sending all these illegals back protesters with these Mexican flags. Like, if you love Mexico so much, why don't you go there?
I literally saw a dude
Cat Williams
on my way home today driving a Chevy pickup with a giant Mexican flag on the hood. It's like, dude, if you love your country so much, why aren't you there?
Yeah.
You live in America.
Yeah. What were you
There's
saying?
I saw a video. Cat Williams was doing this show. I don't know if he was in Texas or Alabama somewhere, and he was on stage, and this guy was like heckling him and stuff, and he was like, "Are you Mexican?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Have you ever been to Mexico? Have you ever heard of Mexico? Go back." It's like, okay.
Jesus.
Cat Williams is a funny motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he warned a lot of people about Diddy.
Josh, who's your loser?
My loser is Bryce Mitchell. Do you know who Bryce Mitchell is, Matt?
I've heard, yes.
Do you know why he's my loser?
I will let you say it.
Well, I'm going to let him say it for me.
I'm going to win you over with logic. The only thing I really disagree with Kent Hovind on is that he's not a flat earther. And Starlink ain't a satellite, by the way, guys. Starlink is
air balloons.
It's on balloons, and it's some type of reflection system or transmission system. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know what it is. But
whatever it is, I've got the internet.
Elon ain't smart enough either, bro. All his rockets are CGI. And that Starlink, it ain't satellites. It's on balloons. I honestly think that Hitler was a good guy based upon my own research, not my public education indoctrination. I really do think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy I'd go fishing with. He fought for his country. He wanted to purify it by kicking the greedy Jews out that were destroying his country and turning them all into gays. They were gaying out the kids. They were queering out the women. They were queering out the dudes.
I've heard a lot of dumb, ignorant in my day, but this one's probably the worst. When you talk about Hitler,
this is Dana White.
He's responsible for the death of 6 million Jews, and he tried to completely eliminate a race of people. World War II was the deadliest war in history. 15 million military deaths, 45 million civilians, and 25 million soldiers were killed in World War II. Second of all, Hitler is one of the most disgusting and evil human beings to ever walk the face of the earth. And anyone that even tries to take an opposing position is a moron. We're beyond disgusting. Free speech. I don't have to love it. You don't have to love it. You know, I think he's probably one of the dumbest, literally one of the dumbest human beings. Let's not forget that this is a guy who took a drill through his nutsack, then had to reverse it and put the drill back out of his.
The drill went off. It tangled up my testicle, my left one, and but initially, right when it went off, it was so painful. I thought that my dick was gone, so I was like really worried, and I mean I was worried. But then I looked; it was still there. And my nut was all wrapped up. There was blood and semen leaking everywhere. And then I reversed the drill, and my left nut unwound.
That's the level of stupid that we're talking about here. I'm giving you mine and the UFC's position on what he had to say. He's stupid. He's dumb. You can't fix dumb people. You know what I mean? When you have somebody that's really, really stupid, and that's what we're talking about here, what do? How do you talk sense to a dummy? You don't.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that.
Well, then there was another fighter.
You know, Hitler was a good guy until he got on the meth.
Yeah. I mean,
he visited Arkansas pre-World War II and came back a meth addict. Incidentally, meth is a huge problem in Arkansas.
Jesus.
He's a Methodist. He's a Methodist.
I didn't know he was a Methodist. I knew he was half Jewish. A lot of internal conflict.
Yeah.
That was his. So he started that podcast. That was episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been back on? Is there an episode 2?
I don't know. I should probably look.
I don't think he's put it out yet, but yeah.
I mean, apologize. Like, here's the funny thing though. there was way more to that. I cut all that down to 3 minutes so we could put it on TikTok.
It's like an hour.
It's an hour plus. He doesn't get into talking about Hitler till like an hour and 18 minutes. Most of that is talking about like Jesus and how he wants to bring people closer to God and Jesus, which that's all cool. But then to pivot
to Elon Musk sending balloons up and Hitler being a good dude until he got on meth.
Yeah, it's like I'd go fishing with that dude. It's like, what? And you can see the guy next to him just like,
he's just like,
oh shit.
I'm co-hosting the wrong.
These were not in the notes. These were not in the notes.
Listen, man, I was all about the Jesus stuff. This is getting way too crazy even for me.
Yeah, it was like the funny thing is he literally started the podcast out with like, I'm gonna win you over with logic. That dude goes to like literally like when I said sipping every drop of the Kool-Aid out there, and I have an idea of where that guy. Yeah.
Why?
I have an idea where that guy's getting some of it. Was not mind numbing, and I had more. I have like a 6-minute video, but I wanted to cut it down. But like, I have a pretty good idea where he gets his information from, based on a lot of the stuff he says. Because I love conspiracy theories, so I pay attention to all kinds of stuff. I don't believe like 90% of it, or do I?
Jesse Ventura.
That dude's a prophet. You watch your whore mouth. But
listen to the body.
It's like, when we say you do your own research, you have to get like, I mean, I'm assuming like the guy. Now I don't know if he's always been kind of dumb, kind of thinking he was, but that dude did get knocked out in one of his fights where he went into a seizure.
Yep.
So he has like hit, and he says obviously some stupid shit. He dropped the hard J word for Japanese people like 6 or 7 times, making excuses for when Roosevelt put them in concentration camps. They weren't like concentration camps. They were more like, like summer camps where you couldn't leave. It's kind of more something like that. But it's like, yeah, like, it makes sense. You're at war and you're like, hey, you look a lot like the enemy. We better lock you up. I mean, that's cool. That's America.
Oh
like,
my God.
So I don't know if like he's suffering from that
idiot.
repetitive concussion thing or whatever, but
CTE, yeah.
And then he says all that shit, and at the end of the podcast, I know I've said some stuff, but I love all of you, even the Jews. I mean,
even
it's like,
stop
damn,
queering
dude.
out the ladies and queering out the guys.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my loser. It was
he didn't kick the Jews
off the
out
wall.
either. He killed them.
Yeah, he was. It's like they were turning everybody gay. All those books he was burning? Yeah, those were gay books. Like he says that.
There's
those were textbooks on how to turn people gay.
Well, there's an interview with another fighter they did, and they asked him about this guy, and he's just like, I don't think he's a Nazi. I think he's just a fucking idiot.
No, I think that's true.
I
don't think that dude's a neo-Nazi.
No, I don't think so either. I think
it's like he's from Arkansas. There might be some incest in his family, but he's just dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he probably is a nice person. He probably does actually care about people. He's like,
probably this guy like
Dana White said, like he's just stupid.
Yeah,
and he reads wrong information, doesn't get any type of, other opinions. Like, yeah, the Earth is flat, and those aren't satellites; those are balloons with reflector arrays.
It's all CGI.
And you can tell the guy thought he was full of shit because he's like,
oh.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because have an open discussion.
Censored. But yeah, and I looked all over the internet for this and for that interview because it got deleted. Like YouTube deleted it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Now they'll probably delete
We're probably going to delete our show.
Probably going to. It's like, hi.
He was on YouTube. Go ahead and head over to X or Rumble.
Yeah, we might be getting kicked off of YouTube soon because of this.
No, it'll only be our second hard strike. First one because of you.
No, and I proved to be right on all that too.
Yeah, no. So I think that strike should be removed.
It should be. We should argue that strike back.
That's why let's just say you won't find our monkeypox episode on YouTube.
Yeah. And I basically just changed monkeypox to COVID and went off on a COVID rant
and
about
said
how-
everything you cannot say about COVID on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna fight it, and I rewatched the episode.
But it's
and,
everything
like,
that turned out to be true.
I was like, nope. He pretty much said everything
that YouTube
can't
won't
say.
allow
everything
at the
won't allow.
time because it was 2021 or something.
Yeah, I don't remember them ever going back and unremoving strikes, but yeah, we actually.
I bet you we could appeal it now.
Yeah, maybe it's like, hey, turns out we were right
Yeah, we were right about everything.
How long has
based
it been?
on
4 years?
science.
Science.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know.
Bill Nye proved us right.
Bill Nye's a jackass.
Bill Nye is
Mr.
a
Wizard,
jackass.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm the only person who knows who
he was
that
my
is.
childhood.
Kevin, you should know who Mr. Wizard is.
I don't know who Mr. Wizard is.
I think it was a
Mr. Wizard?
PBS show.
Was he a special friend of yours, Josh?
No,
Was he a special invisible friend of yours, Mr. Wizard?
no, that guy's name was Frederick.
Oh,
He was the old guy under the bridge.
You know what, Matt? Do you have a winner? Do you have a winner, Matt?
I kind of do. I thought Nancy. I watched a few videos of Nancy Mace. Some of them were good, but others that was just like. I get what you're
Mace is
saying. I'm
somebody-
agreeing with you, but she is just like she does not mince words at all. She will say whatever is on her mind.
Yeah,
Who the hell are you talking about?
she's a
The senator who was screaming slurs out in the middle of the.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's
like, dicks don't belong in women's
Yeah.
change rooms.
well, they don't. So
No, they don't. I agree with her statements. And now she wants to run for governor of South Carolina, and she's trying to get Trump's approval.
you know the funny thing is like I think senators are considered higher than governors.
Well, that's what I thought too. I just didn't understand why she would want to go from that to. Yeah.
Right?
What? Come on. I'm not that old. No.
It's
That
just
was
what
that
his
Mr.
parents
Wizard
were.
was on NBC from 1951 to 1965.
Well, then apparently I
what
was
were you watching? Him and Howdy Doody?
No.
Didn't have like one channel growing up.
Would your parents like have Mr. Wizard tapes?
VHS tapes, yeah.
No. Official Mr. Wizard's World.
Like, here's your
That's the
sweet
old dude. He
watch.
was bald.
From
Oh, come
19
on. It says right here, Mr. Wizard's World, 1983 to 1989.
Oh, did they
Got
do a reboot?
8.2 out of 10 stars.
I've
Is that
never seen it.
IMDb?
Ever.
Doesn't say what channel it was on, though.
Was that the IMDb rating?
Yeah. Who the hell would go back and review a show that old?
I don't know.
I
You
learned
know
how
what? I don't like
pulleys
this
work.
show.
You know what's funny? The only
Like,
episode
somebody's gonna watch it.
the only episode I actually remember is when he showed how pulleys worked and he lifted a bucket of sand up.
What?
Yeah, it's literally the only one. Production company MTV Networks.
Yeah.
So he was cool.
I gotta watch this. I'm gonna YouTube it.
Apparently, he was in Nickelodeon. Was the distributor.
I don't know.
Now he's old in that.
I made a lot of weird
Where I
in
stuff.
grew
that
up,
show,
where
so
I
it
grew
might
up
have been
didn't
a
have
different
cable
one.
right away, so I don't think we got cable till like 1980.
Oh yeah, I did not
I was
say the
watching
world
Ren and
part.
Stimpy.
I didn't know there were two Mr. Wizard, so I wonder if it's the same guy.
Yeah,
I wonder if they just
probably
redid
is.
the show. Like,
He probably got
redo the
broke
show.
from the first one, and then 20 years later, he just.
It's like, well, after I hit it big on the science stuff in the 60s, I got a horrendous coke habit, so I came back in the 80s.
Had to come back.
This is how to properly cut lines and make sure they're all at the exact grammage.
Papa needs his China White.
There's no Colombian diaper powder.
Yes. You know.
Wow.
I don't know if you want every accurate or off word for cocaine.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Watch
Was that
Deadpool
Calvin?
3.
Was that our coworker?
Yeah.
Sounded like him. Sounded like him.
Let's see who's your winner, Kevin.
Elon Musk for sending up all those reflective balloons and CGI and all the SpaceX rockets. That takes some work, man. Or because the Doge stuff.
Skill. Or that.
Whichever one you want to pick, they all
your
work.
pick.
What is this? The black budget world is the world's widest high-tech toy.
Somebody
It's a
just
bot.
kind of.
It's
I think it's a bot.
Why?
I think it's a bot.
Because it's Valiant Thor?
No, because it's talking about toy catalog free from a type of. So lead? So you get your lead toys there?
We don't restrict the lead in our catalog.
We still put uranium
Not
in
a
the
bot,
watches.
son. Oh, okay. Not a bot.
Said not a bot, Kevin. So you owe him an apology.
Sorry, I just don't understand.
Very, very sorry, Thor. Don't attack me.
Black budget world.
Don't bring
is
the thunder.
Wildest. What do they sell? I don't even know what that is. Is this like that slow-moving washing machine thing?
Oh, audit the black budget.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, I think they're going to get into that in when they hit the D.O.G.E. The black, because
I think
that's what we were talking about. Yeah,
we were talking about that earlier.
I do think that that's going to happen. I'm not like, if we have the stuff that they were talking about, that the money.
Are they going to release it? I mean,
well, that's the problem. They do the black budget stuff to apparently pay for all these, like, supposedly we have like 0-point energy style anti-gravity vehicles, and
They
that's
probably paid for all the Power Ranger shows over in Lebanon or something.
But I mean,
like they did.
I mean,
Sesame Street.
Most recent I was able to account just to have.
Like every year, the Pentagon somehow misplaces trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't misplace it. It goes into the black budget. Black.
I know, but
it's not just black ops. It's black.
Yeah.
Black.
No, they say a lot of the what are they calling them now? UAPs or
UAPs, the little pill.
But they say most of what we see is not from is not alien. It's our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they will find a lot there. And I'm like, here's what I don't get. I don't know. I get the secrecy as far as like you don't want your people to know what you're doing. So why don't they just label it secret military to, weapons development? You know what I mean?
R&D or something.
Yeah, because
our eyes only.
I mean, that's what that guy was saying. That's why we were, I think we might have got a little sloshed and went off script, and it was a horrible episode. Was it season 2, episode 1? We were talking about Dr. Greer, and we were like,
Oh yeah. We got a little drunk.
Yeah, fast flying spaceships are cool, man.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. And
you seen Star Wars?
Most episodes, I'm a little drunk, but
spent 10 years working at 2 of our prestigious national laboratories and technology transfer offices.
Oh, you should be a guest.
Well, that's cool. You should be a guest.
Get on.
I'm just saying. No, but like, that's what he was saying, though. Like, you have, you don't pay $300 million for a jet or whatever. I mean, yeah, shit's expensive. It's not that expensive.
Yeah,
it's like, even if you want $1 billion and you wanted to buy like an F-16, you still couldn't afford the maintenance on it. The oil changes are just ridiculous.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with us having that, but like the technology that they're saying that these black budgets are developing, there is whatever, like the supersonic missiles, China, it's all like, it doesn't matter. But they're saying that organization is not actually ran by the U.S. government, Matthew. It's ran by the cabal.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of, well, I'm not saying it's true. It's true that people say or are thinking that. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Because I don't have secret black clearance.
Mm.
Apparently, you have to be a huge narcissist to be one of those.
Do you just have black clearance?
I'm not
You
saying.
sure you don't have it?
I mean, maybe I need to check the mail for my application.
You probably threw it away like you do half our guest requests.
No, I didn't throw it away. I just don't notice until they do it again. And then
Yeah.
apparently, the ex-RNC chair of Florida didn't want to be on our show.
Yeah, what happened to that
Emailed
guy?
me back.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a request from the ex-RNC chair of Florida. He said he wanted to be a guest on the show. We're like, cool. What do you want to talk about? Never heard anything back from him.
Crickets.
Florida.
We're
Like
not
during-
interviewers.
Like during 2000 when like
If you want to be a guest on the show, as long as you're not coming back and just saying stupid, vulgar shit, you can be a
Yeah,
guest.
that's my job.
That's right. But we wanted to have an idea of what we want to talk about because we want to have a conversation. We're not into huge interviewing stuff. We want to have a conversation. So if you want to be a guest, cool. Just let us know what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then email us back. That guy was a real jerk.
That's why we can't have nice things.
I know.
Blessed and productive night. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Tell all your friends about us.
Yes.
Well, my winner's pretty obvious. It's just the American taxpayers because I know the Democrats are freaking out, but, people are getting to see where all their money's going.
I think the more transparency, the better. That's
Yeah.
how government should work.
Yep.
Like, people should know what's going on and where their money's going.
Yes.
That's just me.
No, that
So.
should be everybody, not just you. Should be everybody.
Should be.
Good.
I know I'd like to be in the dark and not know what's going on. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the Trump truth, Kevin.
Trump
You wanna
truth?
go, Matt. Trump truth. Trump truth.
Trump truth.
What I say is what I say.
All right. Trump truth this week is there is no need for Joe Biden to continue receiving access to classified information. Therefore, we are immediately revoking Joe Biden's security clearances and stopping his daily intelligence briefing. He set this precedent in 2021 when he instructed the intelligence community, IC, to stop the 45th president of the United States, me, from accessing details of national security, a courtesy provided to former presidents. The Her report revealed that Biden suffers from poor memory and even in his prime cannot be trusted with sensitive information. I will always protect our nation's security. Joe, you fired. Make America. And that was the Trump truth of the week.
What I say is what I say.
That guy's awesome.
That was
Takes us right into happenings of the week.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening? What is happening?
So let's just go ahead and jump into the whole that Trump truth thing. So Trump cancels Biden's security clearance. I do not know why an ex-president needs to be getting briefings.
I think
unless you're Trump and you have a chance of being reelected.
I think they used to do it for like foreign policy and stuff. So, some people have, good relations with certain leaders and stuff. And you're supposed to actually help out the president or whoever's in office at that time instead of like stabbing them in the back, like what probably was happening.
Obama and Trump are besties now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Kamala's mad.
So
Kamala.
I think that's the reason. I don't know. I think that's the reason they had it.
You mean Michelle?
I don't. Yeah.
Both.
Michelle's very mad.
Yeah.
Both of them are mad.
I think that's why they had it though. To help with foreign relations and stuff.
Well, I can definitely see why you would revoke Biden's clearance because, yeah, he shouldn't have had it when he was president.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who was reading the stuff, but it wasn't Biden.
Well, yeah. It would be interesting if they actually look into that and then Trump releases who has actually been running the country for the last 4 years. Which I think everybody basically is assuming it's his cabinet. A lot of people said it was was it Susan Rice? No.
I don't know.
Who is his last Secretary of State? Obama's. I think it was Susan Rice.
Obama's?
Yeah. Just so you know, printing more money leads
Hillary.
to inflation. Sorry
Hillary
for the late reply to that.
Wasn't Hillary Clinton?
No.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Clinton for a little bit.
Yeah, who is his last one? Who is Susan Rice? Actually, I think she worked for
Condoleezza?
No, she's Republican.
Oh, she was before Hillary.
Yeah, Susan Rice.
Yeah,
Director of Domestic Policy. Yeah, it was Susan Rice. So they think it was Susan Rice, Obama, and people like that.
yeah.
So
certainly
that's
wasn't
their
Biden.
thinking. But Biden had no idea what the hell was going on, and it became obvious. So yeah, revoking his clearance is that kind of brings me up. And I don't know if we talked about it, but Trump canceled a lot of people's Secret Service protection.
Yeah, he did.
What do you think about that?
Well,
he canceled Biden's Secret Service?
No.
No.
You can't cancel out foreign presidents, but
he tried. Biden tried to do it with Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was people like John Bolton and a bunch of his from his first administration.
That's right.
Fauci.
Yeah.
Here's the one that is kind of weird, and that is Mike Pompeo.
Yeah, I don't know what.
There was no falling out between those two, as far as I know, when he was president. Mike Pompeo has never came out and said anything bad about President Trump that I know of. If I'm wrong, please comment below.
It could be just something he said.
But then but very abruptly, he said Mike Pompeo will have nothing to do with my administration. Mike Pompeo was still talking positive about Trump. And then Trump cancels the security detail. That's weird.
I think so too, but something must have happened. They must have had some kind of falling out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, either that or Pompeo's done. I mean, the dude's done so much shit in government that it makes me wonder if he's got some skeletons in the closet.
He might.
So, yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. What do you think about the Mexico-Canada tariff threats and all that? As far as, let's talk about Mexico, Canada, and Panama.
Right, Mexico, where they sent 10,000 troops to the border. Somebody did, they did promise Biden that, but they never did it. So
they promised Trump that. They just didn't do anything.
Yeah. So what Trump did was give him a 30-day leeway. Hey, you have 30 days to do this or the tariffs happen. And any other concessions I want. So basically Canada did the same thing. 10,000 people. Then, they're
using helicopters.
They're sending copters and putting $1.9 billion towards stopping fentanyl. And they're having
you're leaving out the part where Trudeau literally tried to start a trade war.
Yeah, but they can say that, but it's going to hurt Canada way more. It's all talk. You knew it was. All this was.
Well, then he threatened the red states, and Abbott came out and said, "Hey, Texas's economy is bigger than all of Canada. Tread lightly."
Yeah, Canada acts bigger than what they are. They're land-wise, they're big, but
other than maybe China,
there's only 60 million people in Canada.
Well, just from the amount of shit coming from China, I don't think so I think with Canada, it's a huge percentage of goods going to Canada versus coming here. We get 1% of shit from Canada, 1% of Mexico. Mexico accounts for sending 60% of their economy to the US. And I think Canada's they're pretty well up there too. So it doesn't matter. If we tariff them and they try to tariff us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They tariff our milk by over 200%.
Oh yeah.
Once they reach a certain amount of milk that has crossed the border, they add a 200 or 300% tariff to it.
Oh yeah.
No, we don't do any of that. So yeah, and then everyone here's how tariffs work. If we put a 25% tariff on anybody, it doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be a 25% increase on the shit you're buying. Why? Because the people selling the stuff from another country still want to sell their shit. So they're going to eat the cost, if not all of it, a substantial portion of it to limit the amount of what comes from Canada other than maple syrup. Well, we do get lumber from
Ryan
them.
Reynolds.
Lumber.
Brian Reynolds.
I think
Reynolds.
He's a Canadian treasure, and I'm happy we have him.
It used to be asbestos.
Actually,
that's why he's
asbestos
an asshole.
was the number one exporter of Canada was the number one exporter of asbestos in the world, and they just
we're happy with
recently stopped.
Yeah.
There is an Asbestos Canada where you can go and play with chrysotile. Oh, it's like cotton candy that makes my lungs itch. That was their major export, and they were exporting the shit out of that over to India.
Yep.
You see some dude like ripping open a bag of pure chrysotile, and he's, "Oh, I got a bandana on my face. I'm good to go."
This will stop it.
Yeah.
But they, I mean, we buy a lot of shit from Canada, whether it be lumber, some farming stuff. Maple syrup is definitely one of them. But we do that like we do with a lot of shit to prop up their economy. We do that to help them. And that's why Trump's like, well, this is bullshit. It's like, and then especially Canada, they do talk a lot of shit. I don't know if I don't even remember the prime minister before Trudeau. I don't know if they're always like that, but they do talk a lot of shit. It's like, oh,
Canadian.
I don't remember hearing about Canada a lot until Trudeau became the prime minister.
Well, didn't he just step down? Or was
no,
that
well,
the
he
dude
didn't step
before?
down. He's
he's not running again.
Yeah, he's
Oh, I thought
he's
he
not
stepped down.
running for re-election.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't step down. Like he didn't quit. He's just not going to run again.
Okay.
Oh, that's weird. Peter did some weird shit. So if I blink
Weird
out,
shit.
I'm not
I
sure what happened.
gave you a different Trump tweet.
No, but yeah, like all these people, same thing with like, see, Ryan
Yes.
Reynolds.
Yeah, I know, but he's still
He is, he's in a lot of trouble.
Why is it, what extortion? Who is he
Well, I
extorting?
wouldn't.
We talked about this last week.
No,
That
is that
movie
Ryan
with
Reynolds
his
or
wife.
his
Ryan
wife?
both. They're both getting sued. For
Yeah.
like $400
So she
million.
started the sue, and he's involved with it
I don't want
because
to
he
get into this
also
again.
kind of.
I hate entertainment, fucking stupid ass. Like, who cares?
Speaking of the
I don't
entertainment
care.
business,
He was corrupted by Blair. Okay, Ryan Reynolds is a saint.
Blake.
Blake.
Blake
Oh,
Riley.
okay.
What's her name?
I think it's Blake, right?
Blake Lively. Blake
Lively.
He was
I had,
corrupted by her.
Again,
okay?
I don't care about.
He would not have done this on his own.
This isn't entertainment. Who cares?
America
Well,
cares.
speaking
Kevin.
of the entertainment business, we do in Canada. We do a lot of movies and TV up in Canada, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, but the weird thing is there's like there's no terrain or anything up in Canada that we couldn't do in America.
Tax breaks and stuff. Yeah.
Georgia.
Weirdly, a lot of films are no longer filmed in Hollywood.
You know why?
Because it's expensive as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They say like
And they're
there's a ton
using
of
all the
tax breaks.
CGI for the
There's a ton of tax breaks in California, but the red tape to get through to get those tax breaks is impossible to get through.
What do you
What was it? The Revenant? The Revenant was made all in Canada with Leo.
Yeah, a lot of films are. There's a lot in Toronto and shit too.
Do you think Trump's being a jerk for flexing our economic might to get what we need to get done?
I mean,
Well, sound Canadian. Oh, come on.
Technically, he's been a jerk for a lot of things, but you kind of have
Hey,
to.
I'm
be to
sick.
get
I'm gonna
stuff
blame
done.
that.
What did you say?
It says we all sound Canadian.
No, we're just Midwestern.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
Don't
means.
you know?
Harrison Phillips. Bunch of beady-eyed Canadians. I mean, when I start talking about Canada, sometimes it comes out, and before you know it, when the show is done, you go out, you cut a hole in the ice, and you go ice fishing. I mean, it's not my fault. We're talking about Canada.
We're all from the Midwest.
Knocking on the door, one state away.
That's too much Fargo.
I don't feel like my northern accent, if I had one, comes out as much anymore. Now that I'm living in the South.
Mm.
Nah, you still have Midwestern. I mean, you haven't. It's not like you got.
You get
You ain't
more
got
Midwestern than
that
Southern.
Texas. That Texas.
Yeah.
Well, even you two don't sound as bad, but I noticed when I started coming up to visit, like, man, you fuckers do sound like Canadians. Because every now and again you run into one.
Well, if you get someone
What you
from like
talking about?
Wisconsin or you get someone from Wisconsin or northern Minnesota, yeah.
Northern Minnesota definitely.
Oh my
sounds
god,
like,
they're more Canadian than Canadians.
Yeah, I go fishing in northern Minnesota. They definitely sound Canadian.
Or you go to like North Michigan, it's like, holy shit.
Oh, the
Mhm.
UP. The UP is really bad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's why. Well, and the funny
They're
thing
awesome
is,
though. The UP, like, they don't give no fucks.
well, it's because they're used to the cold, and cold works for hard people.
Yeah, when I was working in Wisconsin, people used like where I was working, like there's a bunch of people that lived where I was working that were from the UP, and they were something else, man.
I have known a few.
Do you think that what's going on in Panama is going to have any type of repercussions?
For us,
yes and no, I guess.
now we no longer have to. The government ships no longer have to pay to go through. They're canceling out China. They're kicking China out on both ports.
That's a huge thing, though. That is a
Yes.
huge thing. That that was the first country that China approached for their Beltway whatever initiative.
Yeah, something like that. It's like I can't remember. It's like Belt
That's
and
huge,
Sea
though. Like for
Initiative or
one,
something.
Carter giving that away for $1 is fucking stupid. We built it. We paid for it. We lost like 30,000 people making it. We should have owned and operated it, period.
Absolutely,
that is a huge economic and military asset.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's like, geez, do I want to go down below and across the Horn of South America, or just take this little?
It cuts 27 days out of shipping.
Yeah.
Or
like
moving military
Hey,
equipment
man.
or moving military ships.
I know we just lost a lot of people, spent a lot of money, but I will give you $1 and a sack of these sweet potatoes. It's like, you give me $1 and I will take that dollar and I'll give you these sweet, sweet potatoes and this canal. I mean, what the
Seems
fuck?
like a fair trade.
I don't know what the deal was, why we did it.
Now, there was an agreement. For one thing, the agreement should have been, cool, we'll give it to you. You can make money on other people. We're cruising through this motherfucker for free.
Yeah,
Period.
I don't remember what the agreement was, but
it was supposed to be a set like amount of money for like U.S. commerce and the military and stuff like that. And
I know.
I think our Navy is the number one user of the canal.
Yeah, I don't think they lived up to their part of the agreement. They were supposed to control it. They weren't supposed to let another nation control the ports of entry.
Well, no, and they didn't. And I think part of the purchase agreement was that. And since they breached that, that's why Trump was like, well, we're just going to take it back. You breached your agreement. We're taking it back.
Yeah.
But since it is a...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're reading stuff.
Oh, I was reading stuff. Panama Canal Treaty signed in 1977 by Carter and Panamanian leader Omar Torrijos gave Panama control of the Panama Canal by the year 2000. The treaty is also guaranteed the canal's neutrality. Replaced some other kind of treaty of 1903, which gave the United States control of the canal. Yeah, that's all it says.
We should have just kept it.
Yeah. So what do you think about Trump's, we're going to take Gaza?
I don't know exactly, because he's also said we're not going to put any troops on the ground or anything. So I don't know what exactly the plan is there.
He said we're not putting troops on the ground. I heard he wanted to.
I
heard he didn't. He said no troops.
No troops on the ground. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
He wants to make the new Riviera. He wants to make it a resort.
Yeah, I know, but
there's some lady on Facebook coming out. This is the end of days that proves it. It's like, for one thing, in the Bible it says no one can predict the end of times, even if there is a glaring similarity. But I think it was a dad move. We're like two siblings are fighting about something, so dad comes in and just trashes everything.
Yeah.
Like, well, this is mine now. Because it's like, basically what he said is, it's like, what has been happening hasn't worked. And if
Yeah.
you guys aren't going to figure this shit out, then we're going to come in and take it over.
No.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's, and like what they said, he flipped the situation up on its head. And now I guarantee you people are talking about it, like how to stabilize that region. Because for one, there's not too many people in Gaza. It's like 300,000. And nobody can live there. I mean, that's true.
And he said, like, hey, Egypt, you're going to allow people in from there, and so are you, Jordan. So,
Well, and nobody around there other than maybe Israel wants the U.S. to occupy or control Gaza.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's why he did it.
Yeah, I think so too.
So no chicks with dicks in sports anymore. That's pretty cool.
Well, in women's sports.
Well, yeah, women's sports. I mean, I guess the chicks with dicks are gonna have to go back to the male sports.
They could.
Yeah, they could.
So
they're gonna have really poor lives if they do.
Good. The NCAA also ruled that they're not going to allow the trans women or whatever you call them into women's sports. So good.
Yeah.
That should have been a thing from the beginning.
That should just be common sense shit.
Yeah. This should never have been a thing. You shouldn't have had to sign an executive order saying it.
Yeah, that's how far that we've fallen as a country, where someone has to come out and say there's only two genders and no dudes in girls sports. Yeah. And then you have the Democrats who are supposed to be like, the champions of women's rights saying, yeah, dudes should be able to be in girls sports. We're going to change the actual law.
Yeah.
Put forward for women to put men in girls sports.
Yeah. It's just weird.
Let's see. I don't know anything about the shooting in Sweden. Do you?
I know it happened.
I know it happened. I know they swiftly came out and said it was it was at a senior educational center. A lot of people were killed. I think it was like 10 plus. And they were swift to come out and say it was not ideological. It was just some guy who wanted to shoot people.
There has to be a reason, though.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. They took in a lot of refugees, and their supposedly rate and assault rates went very high.
Yeah.
You a pretty big fan of us shipping people to Gitmo?
Absolutely. Send all the criminals there.
I agree.
All the illegals that are...
Did you know about that, man?
Mm-mm.
Sending our super violent criminals that we can't get rid of right away down to Gitmo.
Also
up to 30,000.
Is it Venezuela or... Yeah. Guy from
Heralding Kumar go there?
Well, that was the next one. Shipping criminals off to other countries, including our own. Not even necessarily illegals.
Yeah.
Like if somebody gets arrested and he's a real piece of shit and we just don't want him in the country, I don't know if it's Venezuela, but some other countries like, yeah, we'll take him.
I don't know if it's Venezuela or Guatemala or...
Well, here's what I know. If you have a total piece of shit and it's going to cost less to ship them down to a foreign prison, there's a Chicks with Dicks commercial?
Is it our Tucker's commercial?
Yeah. If you haven't seen her Tucker's commercial, check out her TikTok page.
Or I think it's on one of our... I think it's on Rumble.
It's on Instagram, too.
I think it's on Rumble as well.
Yeah, check it out. Tucker's. The ultimate cucumber restraint system.
I just looked up Chicks with Dicks.
The ultimate cucumber elastic restraint system.
I just looked up Chicks with Dicks commercial, and it's just a bunch of Dick's Sporting Goods commercials.
I did not remember that, but I appreciate you.
I don't know. Life is good. That commercial from Dick's.
It was a Dick's Sporting Good commercial, I guess.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we're shipping off criminals.
Yeah, well, and I think the whole thing behind it is it's super expensive to keep criminals in the United States. So if it's cheaper to send them off to some, other place, I'm down.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, why not?
I don't know if you can send a U.S. citizen away, though. I just don't know if that's allowed or
I don't know. Apparently he's doing it.
not U.S. citizens. They gave him the option to do it. He's not doing it.
How does that work?
What do you mean? They just said they'll take him. He didn't say he'll send our U.S. citizens there. They're just like, yeah, we'll take anybody for a price. For a price, they're not doing it for. They're not doing it for free either. We have to pay them for it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's still cheaper than keeping them over here. It's very expensive to keep people over here.
Well, I
You
know.
guys should read
I'm just saying, I
Savage.
don't know if you can send a U.S. citizen to Venezuelan prisons.
No.
Just find an island, put them all there, and then do a Hunger Games thing.
That's how Australia was made. We don't need another Australia.
Savage Son. Yeah, there we go.
That's been done. Death Race, Gamer. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just read
Plenty of
Savage
movies
Son
about
by
that.
Jack Carr. It's great.
Damn it. I'm trying to upload our Tucker's commercial, but it's not working.
Oh, damn.
I'm going to add that. We'll play it next week.
Yeah.
Just at some random point. It's wonderful. You should check
the
it
most
out.
dangerous game.
Do you guys have any? I don't know if there's anything else.
What's the Super Bowl prediction? Who you got? Who you backing?
I'm thinking. I mean, the whole house is for the Chiefs, so they somehow always find a way to win. But I think this year the Eagles are they're too stacked. They're too good.
I think Saquon Barkley's too good. I think
Yes.
the Eagles will win. I think their defense
And their
will
defense is
shut them.
great.
Yeah.
Well, my backup team has always been the Eagles, so that's who I'm rooting for. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm
I'd
the
be
only
okay with either
Chicago
one, but I
fan
I'm
think
taking
in my
the Eagles
entire house.
because the Chiefs have
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Oh,
Hopefully, she's
We'll see
better
if
luck
Taylor
than
Swift
Jessica
goes.
Simpson was for the Cowboys.
oh, good Lord. So far,
Oh,
she
yeah.
has.
Yeah, she has been so far. And she did not appreciate being rebuffed during the celebration ceremony last year. So I thought that was pretty funny. No, it's all about
Wonder if she'll-
me.
Yeah, I
keep
wonder if she'll
forget-
come out.
To be
with
honest,
Kendrick
I
in
keep
the
forgetting the Super Bowl Sunday. I keep forgetting it.
It's because you're a loser.
I don't really care
You want
about
me to
the
send you a
Eagles.
reminder?
I don't care about the Eagles or the Chiefs. I mean, I'll watch it obviously because I like football and I
Yeah.
like the Super Bowl. But
Yeah, I'll watch it. Well, that's all I got. You guys got anything else?
nope.
For the happenings.
Epstein Island, we could send them there.
Is that still around?
I think
What
so.
song plays in
The
your
island
head?
obviously is. It's a landmass.
It is.
The Chicks with Dicks song, I guess.
Oh.
Keeps playing in his head.
And now I gotta look it up, and I'm afraid to do that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm gonna find something.
I don't want
else.
to hit play. What, 2 chicks in a cup?
You're just gonna be
No.
randomly walking around the house singing that.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you? It's not me. Blame the comment section.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings up the white slur of the week.
White slur of the week.
What's a honky?
This week's white slur of the week is crick gypsy. White trash wandering around looking for a job. In West Virginia, the only navigable areas are the valleys formed by rivers and creeks, also known as cricks. And that is your white slur of the week. Crick gypsy.
What's a honky?
I'm not gonna lie, Matt. You do one hell of a white slur of the week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. They're very entertaining.
Yes.
You never got flagged for one, so
Crick gypsy.
Like I said, that entire segment is a social experiment.
we find out it doesn't matter.
Yes. Well, all right. Well, I don't have anything else, do y'all?
Nope.
Oh,
All right.
for
Well,
y'all
thanks.
have a wonderful day.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, I'm Josh.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Matt.
And this was the Lost Art of Common Sense.
Common sense.
Common
Common
Sense.
sense.
Keep that vinyl spinning.
And remember, don't be boring, be a pirate.
And stay classy.